Alright guys, so I tried the new freemium version of Halls of Torment on mobile, and unfortunately it is basically a microtransaction hellscape, as you would imagine for a free mobile game. There are a few interesting ideas though that could potentially make their way over to the Steam version, the main version of the game. However, this mobile version, I really do not recommend playing it unless you are desperate to try Halls of Torment and you do not have a PC at all. Halls can run on a pretty low end PC, so you really don't need the highest end PC to play this game. If you have access to it on PC, absolutely play that version. There are console ports coming too at some point, probably next year. So I would even suggest waiting. If you don't have a PC but you have consoles, I would suggest waiting until they do a console port. I do not think it's worth playing this version of the game. So basically, every game system here has been redesigned to allow for aggressive monetization. There's even a subscription model, a monthly payment you can do to get bonus rewards. And of course, they've got the daily login stuff and all that as well. You can even spend money to revive yourself in a run if you die and get a huge damage, HP, and attack speed boost. Oh yeah, it also gives you 4 times rewards. There is also a new item leveling system, which, yes, you can use premium currency to upgrade your items now. And of course, this you have to pay for with real world money. The run times are also much shorter here. They're 12 minutes. This actually I don't mind. This I think suits mobile a bit better than having like 30-minute runs, for example. This is one area which I think actually suits the mobile version pretty well. Okay, so how does the game actually play? I tried it on a PC emulator as well as a mid-range phone here. In terms of the touchscreen controls, they do work. However, I do find them to be pretty imprecise. This is an issue that I personally have with a lot of mobile games that use the fake analog stick for movement. I just don't think it feels very responsive and accurate. And this is the kind of game that you really need to be able to move your character smoothly to dodge through these tiny little gaps with your character's hitbox, right? So I personally don't think it feels all that good on a mobile phone. However, I did also try it through PC emulation using a controller. So this is definitely my preferred input method for playing this game. If you do have access to a controller that works on your phone, or you do want to try this through PC emulation, I would recommend using a controller. How did the game actually perform? Well, on the mid-range phone, it performed pretty well in terms of the frame rate staying stable. On the PC emulator, it was a little choppy, but it was definitely playable. But yeah, I don't think the touchscreen controls really benefit this type of game. I just don't think they feel that great. Okay, let's also talk about probably the best thing that Halls of Torment Freemium does, and this is a concept that I think the main game on Steam should take and incorporate. Obviously, not for real world money, but for in game grinding currency. So, what am I talking about? This game will now allow you to upgrade individual items, everything from your gloves, your helmets, and all that. It has multiple levels too, it goes up to at least level 20, if not higher. This is quite a significant resource investment, and of course, these can be purchased with real money. However, I think this concept of actually having item progression is something that Halls of Torment, the main game on Steam, is missing. That actually I think would go a long way to keep people interested in the grind once they get a bit higher level and they get into the end game. So you basically just spend a little bit of currency to level up your items, and each level will give you some bonus stats. For example, some of them will give you additional crit chance, some will give you additional attack range, etc., right? So I think more progression in the main game is needed, especially in the later parts of the game. Just having torment shards by themselves, not super interesting in my opinion. So I think this system could totally be taken and maybe reworked a little bit and put into the main game. Obviously, as I said, without real world currency being involved, just let me pay for your $5 DLC or whatever, and let's get to grinding. So this all begs the question then, how much of Halls of Torment Freemium can you play before you start hitting that paywall, before that feeling of all the developers are just starting to reach into my pocket at every single turn? Well, to be fair, you can definitely play through the main stages, unlock a few characters, unlock a few items, and start progressing. You definitely can progress through just the basic levels and that sort of stuff. If, however, you're an endgame grinder like me, you are going to very quickly start hitting the paywall, and that is really unfortunate. It is unfortunately very much just copy pasted a lot of the worst of other mobile microtransaction systems and kind of just plonked it here on top of what Halls of Torment is. And they have obviously tweaked some of the things in the background to make it more suited to the mobile experience, right? So, who is this game really for? Would I recommend it to anyone who has a PC and access to Steam? Absolutely not. Go pick up the Steam version. It's only like 10 bucks or whatever, less than 10 bucks, and it is a fully featured 1.0 game. There is an expansion coming in a couple of months. So, I absolutely would recommend going and playing the PC version before I would ever choose to play the mobile version. So, who is this really for? Basically, if you don't have a PC, if you don't have access to a PC at all, or even consoles. The console port, as I mentioned earlier, is coming next year, I think. If you don't have access to any of that and you still really, really want to play Halls of Torment, then maybe you can give this a go and judge for yourself whether you think it is insidious or not. However, for me, I just can't personally recommend this version of the game when a significantly better version of this game exists and is very easily accessible and cheap. Guys, if you found the review useful at all, hit like and subscribe for me. So let's just go over our upcoming plans for Halls of Torment on the channel moving forward. So in Q4 of 2025, they are releasing the Boglands DLC for the Steam versions of the game. This will feature a few new characters, new stages, and that sort of stuff. I'm hoping there's some new game systems to make the end game a bit more interesting as well. That is to be determined though. So that is coming Q4. They have not given us a specific date. So somewhere in the realm of October, November, December, we'll be getting the Boglands DLC. They have not put a price up on the Steam page just yet, but I can't imagine it's going to be any more than like $5 or so, considering that the full game is only about $10. I don't imagine a DLC would be any more than about half of that. But so that will be coming in Q3. Until then, I'm not really too sure what else to do for Halls of Torment. I've got a lot of guides and content on the channel already. If you have any ideas of any content that would be interesting to see between now and the Boglands are releasing, let me know with a comment down below. With that being said, guys, I hope you all enjoyed the video. I hope you all are having a great day out there wherever you are. So mobile games, man, they're just not really for me, generally speaking. The only ones I ever really play are like simple puzzle games where the touchscreen controls actually feel pretty good to use. These sorts of games where you're running around with a fake joystick, they just don't feel that good for me personally on the mobile. So yeah, I'm probably not going to continue playing Halls of Torment mobile, but when the Boglands comes out, we will totally check that out on the channel. Guys, I hope you all have a great day out there. As I said, catch you in the next one. Hit like and subscribe for me.